That we will never lose money in stock market is a big narrative which will be broken in the next 10 years. So the fact that SIPs are perceived to be seat belts is also not factual.
Sure.
Because they are not seat belts. The largest market cap companies today in the world, like an Amazon, have seen a 90% price fall many times before they became large. The biggest enemy of good investing is to not invest when prices are low. Never get excited if SIP numbers are rising. That also should not happen. Never get scared if someone else is cancelling SIPs. Every one-line model is right in some context at some point for someone, not for everyone. Gold itself is very volatile. Gold's fluctuations are sharper than equity. There are times when for 10 years returns of gold has been zero.
Okay.
There are times when gold has fallen by 40% in a single year, like stocks. If someone has earned 20% in the last 1 year, it is that someone, it's not you. And it has got no bearing to your future return. किसी के past return का मेरे और आपके future return के साथ कोई connection ही नहीं है. Don't buy bad companies. Don't overpay. If you just follow these two rules, you will create resilient portfolios.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bazaar and Beyond, where we deep dive into the world of finance, investing, and more to help you make smart investment decisions. और मैं हूं आपका होस्ट विवेक अनंत. हमारे आज के गेस्ट हैं कल्पेन पारेख. Mr. Parekh has been in the investment management space since 1999 with stints at ICICI Prudential, Aditya Birla Sun Life, and IDFC AMC. He is currently the MD and CEO of DSP Mutual Fund. Mr. Parekh's focus remains educating investors, inculcating long-term thinking, and disciplined investing. Thank you, Mr. Parekh, for speaking with us. So I wanted to start off with, my first question is more about, you talk a lot about panic while people invest. You want people to avoid panic, so focus on their goals. But do you think that over-optimism is also something that allows or prevents people from seeing risks that might be there on the horizon?
Do I speak about panic?
Now, I've seen like your conversations on Twitter and social media. I've seen you talk about that investors should have a particular frame of mind while they're investing, not panic specifically in terms of the word.
Yeah, see, why do we all invest? We invest so that over long periods of time, we are able to not just retain but increase the purchasing power of our money. And in most countries, including India, we face 10 to 12% rising prices every year in things that we consume, which is our lifestyle inflation, right? Whether it's education, whether it is travel, whether it's food, healthcare. So what we all aspire for is whatever money we earn from our jobs or our business, and then when we save and invest that, it should at least grow at a rate of return which is higher than the rate at which inflation is eating away our money. That is at its core why we want to invest. Now, that outcome is achieved more effectively only if you really invest for decades, because only over decades the value of your initial capital compounds and becomes multiple times if you have invested for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And in such a long period of time, generally I'm using the word, not always, generally markets rise, especially stock markets tend to rise. If we come from a respectable, steady economy, many economies, even over 20 years, markets give mediocre returns, but India has been fortunate. So over a very long period of time, we do get returns. At the same time, every year, within the same year, stocks fluctuate by 15 to 30%. The main headline market, Nifty itself, fluctuates by 15 to 20% intra-year from a certain peak to a certain low. There are, every 4 years, markets fall by 40%. Every 8 years, we've seen a 50% correction. Now, as human beings, obviously, we get very nervous when our hard-earned money loses value so sharply. And we are also losing value of our money because of inflation, but that's not seen. Okay. It's hidden. But loss in markets are not hidden. They are seen upfront. They are seen real time. Okay. In today's hyper-active digital world, we see losses minute by minute, second by second, because the ticker is constantly moving. So that induces a lot of panic reaction or a lot of nervousness and anxiety in our minds, which may make most investors react at that moment. There's a beautiful line someone has said that in stock markets, all rallies are permanent, but corrections temporary.
Fair enough.
Now, if corrections are temporary, it means that when they happen, our panic should not convert a temporary correction into a permanent correction. Because in a temporary correction, if we end up selling our good investments, whether good stocks or good mutual funds that we are owning, that temporary paper loss or optical loss actually gets converted into real loss, and that eats away our capital. So, to fulfill this objective of making your money grow, remaining invested for very long periods of time is a bare minimum condition. And to ensure that we remain invested for long periods of time, what it means is that every short periods of time when there are price moves which are negative, we don't need to react. So while we should be obviously optimistic about the future of any investing, and that is the only reason why we invest in those asset classes, at the same time we need to be also real. We should be aware that while in the long term money is made, in the short term money can be lost, and whenever there are temporary price corrections, we should not overreact and not unnecessarily take any actions.
So just as a heuristic, so SIPs are usually considered like a seat belt for investors, like, so that they're investing regularly in the market, they don't get swayed too much. What would be an equivalent, like say like an airbag or a fail safe for an investor that they should never forget, that they should have this in their mind?
So let me first clarify. I'll not straight away jump into answering your questions because most often a lot of our questions are wrong.
Okay.
Most often our own questions come from biases.
Sure.
In an attempt to oversimplify.
Sure.
We all have good intent to simplify investing, but it gets oversimplified.
Sure.
So the fact that SIPs are perceived to be seat belts is also not factual.
Sure.
Because they are not seat belts.
Sure.
If you are investing in an asset class where there is inherent fluctuation,
Sure.
in an asset class where 80 to 90% of generally stocks don't make money,
Sure.
there are very few stocks in the whole world which make money. There is some statistic which says that over the last 50 years, only 5% of stocks have earned more than treasury bill returns globally. So, by default, the need to eliminate is very important, and you are investing in a volatile asset class. When you invest in a volatile asset class, whether through a lump sum or through an SIP, there is no way anything can be fail safe.
Yeah.
There is no way anything can have airbags in the short run. Things can fall. Every 8 years, like I said, prices have fallen by 50-60%, and eventually they've recovered. The largest market cap companies today in the world, like an Amazon, have seen a 90% price fall many times before they became large. And when they fell that high, no one knew that they are going to become big, because in that first 30, 40, 50% fall, a lot of people would have got out. So all I'm trying to say is that in investing, we look at the outcomes of the survivors and assume that that outcome is going to be my outcome also when we start to invest. But in the journey, when shocks and corrections happen, we feel cheated that, okay, I thought this is a game of making money, but यहाँ पे तो correction भी हो रहा है, यहाँ पे तो price loss भी हो रहा है. और ये हम क्यों डर जाते हैं? Because हमने गलत लेसन सीखे हैं अपने इन्वेस्टमेंट की शुरुआत में by oversimplified statements that SIPs are safe or SIPs, So SIP is just a mechanism of investing every month because almost 90% of Indians earn monthly income. तो मेरी इनकम ही अगर मंथली है तो मेरा इन्वेस्टमेंट का तरीका भी मंथली होगा, और इस मंथली इन्वेस्टमेंट के तरीके को सिस्टमैटिक इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लान का नाम दिया गया है. इट डज़ नॉट टेक अवे द वॉलेटिलिटी ऑफ द अंडरलाइंग एसेट क्लास. What it does is in months when prices are lower and cheaper, which is great for an accumulator of units because you're able to buy more units. An SIP, because it is an automated process where like I have an SIP on 28th of every month because that's my date of birth. I have an SIP on 10th of every month for my son because that's his date of birth. तो हर 28 को या हर 10 तारीख को मार्केट ऊपर हो या नीचे हो, मेरे बैंक से पैसा निकल जाता है और यूनिट्स हम खरीद लेते हैं और मेरे अकाउंट में रात को यूनिट्स आ जाते हैं. दैट मनी डज नॉट कॉल मी अप एंड आस्क मी आज इन्वेस्ट करना है या नहीं करना है, आज आपको कैसा फील हो रहा है, आज मार्केट नीचे है, आज इकोनॉमी ख़राब लग रही है. सो SIP टेक्स अवे द the task of taking a decision on that day. It is an automated mechanism. So the automation of the SIP takes away our need to decide every month positively or negatively depending on how we are feeling. And almost every day our feelings change because prices change. And when we look at prices, the feelings keep changing. In rising markets, we feel like buying more. In falling markets, we feel like selling more. Whereas SIP in a way avoids us from making those errors. So it is a relatively better mechanism of investing, a better method of investing. One, because it matches with the cash flows of most investors. Monthly cash flow है तो आप monthly investment करिए. और दूसरा, at least the biggest enemy of good investing is to not invest when prices are low. And SIP ensures more or less that without asking us, it will go and buy into the market, even on a bad day, even on a day when we don't feel like investing. There are many 28ths of a month when markets are down 2% or 3%, or in the last 30 days, it's down 8-10%. Headlines are negative, lot of bad news going on. And left to myself, I would feel, let me wait, let me not invest today, I'll invest tomorrow. SIP does not do that. It doesn't do timing. तो सस्ते में ज़्यादा यूनिट खरीदता है, महंगे में कम यूनिट खरीदता है. So it is relatively a better version than you and I applying our emotional decision making to investing. But it is not a safe mechanism blindly. You can't take it for granted. Any equity investment, generally, if you give it 5 to 7 years time horizon, particularly in Indian markets, 7-8 साल के बाद most often the returns are better than alternative investments like fixed deposits or gold or other asset classes, which is why we say that अगर आपने 10 साल की SIP की है, your odds of making reasonable double-digit return historically have been good, and generally in future also, the future more or less does mimic the past unless something really drastically changes. So in summary, SIPs are a better way to invest, but will obviously have the risk of fluctuation. And if your SIPs are for longer periods, they create value. If they are for very short periods, they may not create value.
सर, अभी आपने SIP के बारे में इतना डिटेल में समझाया, मुझे ना एक डेटा पॉइंट जो मैंने ट्रैक किया है, आपने भी ट्रैक किया होगा, जो SIP स्टॉपेज रेशियो पिछले 4-5 महीने से काफ़ी इट हैज़ बीन ऑन द राइज. इवन दो आप देखेंगे तो SIP अमाउंट काफ़ी बढ़ रहा है. जस्ट explain to our viewers how they should see this phenomenon and how to understand it.
So let me, firstly convey that it is a useless metric for any investor. मेरी और आपकी लाइफ में क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है अगर बाजू वाले ने SIP बंद किया? And almost every month when this data is out, every TV channel is also asking this question. Everyone is talking about this metric. And this is actually, death by data. We sometimes give so much of data to our investors which is not relevant to them, but which only creates unnecessary confusion and friction in his mind. SIP is very simple. You have money in your account, you have to invest, you have to buy units every month. हर महीना इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का बिल भरना है, हर महीना गैस का बिल भरते हैं हम, हर महीना सोसाइटी का बिल भरते हैं, हर महीने एडमिशन की फ़ी भरते हैं. वी डोंट कॉल अप द प्रिंसिपल एंड आस्क कि कितने स्टूडेंट्स ने इस महीने में फ़ी नहीं भरी है. Neither does the school publish these type of data. But when it comes to our own personal finance, we probably find too much of gratification in these type of noisy data points. Is the first comment I want to make. So whatever answer I give is irrelevant to the listener if he is a long-term investor. His long-term journey of investing has got nothing to do with SIP cancellation data. Number two, in the last few months, there are certain operational changes or tweaks which have been made on how numbers are reported. So, there are usual SIPs which get registered and usual SIPs which complete their 10-year shelf life, और किसी ने 20 साल की SIP की थी, वो 20 साल पूरे हो गए, तो नेचुरल एक कैंसलेशन या स्टॉपेज होता है. कभी कभी इन्वेस्टर्स के कैश फ्लो चेंज होते हैं, कभी कभी इन्वेस्टर्स पैनिक करके बोलते हैं हमें इन्वेस्ट नहीं करना है. तो देयर आर डिफरेंट रीजंस व्हाई दीज नंबर्स कैन चेंज, बट पर्टिकुलरली इन द लास्ट 3-4 months, one of the reason why this number looked a bit alarming was there was a lot of bunching up of how operationally some of these data points were captured in the last year. So a lot of transactions done on the stock exchange were classified as something and they were reclassified as something else.
Okay.
And in that journey of reclassification, it showed as cancellation somewhere. And in some months, it showed as, jump in SIP numbers. So these are very irrelevant operational nuances that to a new investor don't matter. So I would only say that Some of this data is a bit exaggerated or unintentionally misleading because of this operational change.
Got it.
Number two, this data, even if it is genuinely rising, means nothing to the end investor. जिसको अपने 10 साल में, सो फॉर एग्जांपल आज मेरी उम्र 51 है और मुझे और 20 साल इन्वेस्ट करना है, तो मुझे आई डोंट केयर व्हाट इज़ माय नेबर डूइंग, व्हाट इज़ माय अदर इन्वेस्टर डूइंग, और व्हाट इवन यू आर डूइंग. आई हैव मनी, आई हैव डिसाइडेड मुझे इस फंड में यूनिट्स इकट्ठा करने हैं, आई कीप डूइंग दैट. And if the NAV is falling, I'm still happier because I'm getting more units. Lastly, over the last 10 years, there has been such a huge swell in the total number of SIP users that there will be some small percentage of users who may have completed their plans, who may have finished their SIP tenure, or who may panic also and say that, okay, itna fluctuation ho raha hai market mein, I thought, or I assumed that, my returns will go up linearly by 30% because when I invested, everyone showed me last 1 year, 3 year, 5 year returns. And not forget, everyone showed me. मैंने खुद जाके Google किया, show me the best performing funds. Google ने दिखा भी दिया कि हाँ ये 5 best performing fund है. And at that point उनका रिटर्न 25 या 30% था. मुझे अच्छा लगा 30%. और मैंने खुद assume कर लिया कि फ्यूचर में मुझे ये 30% बनने वाला है. And after I started my SIP, something happened. Russia, shot a missile. India, Pakistan went close to a war. Trump is giving tantrums. So prices are falling and my returns are minus 10%. I was assuming 25, but it is becoming minus 10. ये मेरे लिए नहीं है, let me stop. So these type of different people behave differently. So what happens is because someone else is misbehaving, someone else is interpreting data, someone else is reporting operational changes, you are unnecessarily changing your financial journey and destination. And hence these numbers are almost irrelevant for an investor. And I want to use this forum to say that never get excited if SIP numbers are rising. That also should not happen. Never get scared if someone else is cancelling SIPs. If you have money, if your choice of asset class is right, if your choice of fund or stocks is right, continue with your plan. If you need money, take that money out. It doesn't matter then that SIPs are growing. You are reading headlines that everyone is investing in SIPs, but if you need money, take it out. So all I'm trying to say is that investing is a personal journey. Personal finance is more personal, less finance. And hence, do not get distracted by anything which is so noisy.
Okay. Generally लोग mental models इन्वेस्टिंग के बारे में भी बात करते हैं, न्यूज़ में सुनते हैं, पेपर में पढ़ते हैं. आई जस्ट वांटेड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि मेंटल मॉडल चेंज करके आपने कभी इन्वेस्ट किया है? हैज़ देयर बीन एनी बेनिफिट टू यू बिकॉज ऑफ दैट?
These are very intelligent academic concepts. In no part of our life we make things so complex, right? Like application of mental model in deciding मुझे engineering करना है या medical करना है या मुझे कौन सा college choose करना है. We do not bring these mental models. But in investing कभी किसी ने intelligently ऐसे 1-2 statement मार लिए होंगे तो वो अब हर narrative में आ जाता है. तो मुझे नहीं पता होता है कि ये
I'll give you an example. Like say if I say 100 minus my age is my equity exposure. But मेरा कोई दोस्त है जो बोलते हैं कि आई हैव लॉस्ट टू मच टाइम इन्वेस्टिंग बिकॉज आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग लेट. तो सडनली मेरे को 90% करना है. उसके वजह चूक भी हो सकती है, वो ज़्यादा एक्सपोजर लेके रिस्की स्टॉक्स में भी इन्वेस्ट कर सकता है, रिस्की म्यूचुअल फंड्स में भी इन्वेस्ट कर सकता है. बट अगर वो एक्चुअल मॉडल फॉलो करे, there could be some benefit.
So what is the model?
That 100 minus age.
So that's what I'm saying. That these are again very oversimplified hacks that someone would have said at some point in time. और जब कभी किसी ने पहली बार ये बोला होगा तो वो एक ऐसा आर्किमिडीज का वाव प्रिंसिपल जैसे लगा होगा. एंड देन एवरीवन स्टार्ट्स टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट विदाउट वैलिडेटिंग, विदाउट साइंटिफिक टेस्टिंग दैट वेदर दिस वर्क्स और नॉट. Personally, the way I think about investing is not dependent on, so let's say my age is 20, 100 minus 20 is 80, so I should be 80% in stocks. But what if market is in a bubble that time?
Okay.
That model fails. It is not built on sound principles. What if I don't have money? What if I have to repay some loans in the next 6 months or 1 year? 20 means I'm just, almost completing my graduation or education. I have taken a loan and I have to repay that loan. And this mental model will actually tell me go and pile up equity risk. And let's say markets are something similar to 2007-8 in a bubble, and in the next 1 year they fall by 70%. So on one hand, I have a loan, the meter of that loan is running. I have not even started earning my salary. I don't even have that much money, and I am following one line model. So every one line model is right in some context at some point for someone, not for everyone. What tends to happen is this overgeneralization again teaches, you know, it teaches unfortunately wrong lessons.
Okay.
So the framework to invest always should be that मेरे पास पैसा कितना है, मेरे पास समय कितना है, कितना मैं 1 महीने के लिए मुझे पैसा लगाना है, 1 साल के लिए, 10 साल के लिए, 20 साल के लिए. We all have different needs. So if my need is very near term or short term, independent of these mental models or formulas, I will have to invest in very safe assets which have got nothing, which have very limited fluctuation. And by default, that can't be equity. It has to be something very, very safe like a treasury bill or a liquid fund or an overnight fund or an arbitrage fund, which have got nothing to do with stock market fluctuations. If my time horizon is 20 years, then investing in a very safe instrument is also unsafe, because that safe instrument will barely earn returns. It will not even beat inflation, and over a long period of time, it will eat away in your capital, and hence it's unsafe. So 20 saal hai, to you have to be more in equity, again, irrespective of your age. My mother, she was 79 last year. She passed away a few months back, but her portfolio had 60% stocks, 60% equity funds, because all her net savings were invested for long term, and it would pass on to the next generation. So why should she tweak her asset allocation just because her age is high? And why was it 60 and not, let's say, 80 or 90? Is because markets are expensive right now. Is the way I think. This is my personal, framework, that when stock prices are very high, I would have more of bonds and gold in my portfolio. When valuations are cheap, I will reduce my safer asset class like bonds and increase my risk towards the asset class which is cheaper. So there are more, there are conceptually very different dimensions to keep in mind when you're building your portfolio, what asset class to select. It should be a function of your risk appetite, your time horizon, the time horizon of the goal, and the setup of that asset class. Is that asset class risky, or is that asset class less risky? If the whole world is chasing that asset class, most likely it is risky. If that asset class has risen very sharply, most likely it is risky, because things fluctuate, right? Asset classes are cyclical. They rise, they fall, they rise, they fall. So if they've risen very sharply, the odds are higher that it will fall in the next couple of months or year versus rising. Howard Marks has said that rising prices means rising risk. The common investor thinks rising prices means no risk, and falling prices risk. Actually, falling price is safety. Of course, disclaimer, it should be falling price of a good asset class. If it is a junk company or a bad company or a badly governed company or a junk asset class, then even a falling price is risky. So there are so many other nuances that most first-time investors don't know. They learn over time, they learn over cycles. Some learn, some don't learn. In fact, some learn, many don't learn. And which is why a lot of published research says that over long periods of time, most human beings do not even beat savings account return.
Wow, okay.
Over very long periods of time. So all I'm saying is that we should not romanticize investing, that everyone will make money every day. There are long periods where you don't make money, but if you stay disciplined and you have your framework right, you are guided by good advice or sound advice, you have good chances of beating inflation or doing better than alternatives.
You spoke about getting good advice. So one question that I always ask, most of our guests, because they're in the investing spaces, कैसे लोग देखें कि मुझे advisor चाहिए या नहीं चाहिए? What is the barometer or what is the filter through which they should see this decision? कैसे सोचना चाहिए इस decision के बारे में?
देखिए, आपको अगर जो भी टास्क करना है, अगर आपको वो आता है तो आप खुद कीजिए, आपको नहीं आता है तो मत कीजिए. आपको गाड़ी चलानी है, पहली बार आपको चलानी है गाड़ी, यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू जस्ट स्ट्रेट अवे सिट इनटू अ कार एंड स्टार्ट ड्राइविंग. यू विल गो टू समवन हु विल टीच यू ड्राइविंग. You want to learn swimming, you will ask this question: should I straight away jump into the pool and experiment and learn, or should I take a coach for the first 10-15 sessions, learn with him, practice and then do it? Even in swimming, we take a coach, we practice and then we do on our own. So coach और practice दोनों ज़रूरी है. Likewise, if you want to buy medicines, basic medicines, over time you have heard from your parents or from your doctors that if you have body pain, you take a Crocin or a paracetamol. but you don't go for self discovery of medicines on things you don't know. You know, see again I'm saying that ये हमारे इंडस्ट्री में ये सब सवाल लोग पूछते हैं. मेडिसिन के फील्ड में कोई ऐसे पॉडकास्ट नहीं करता होगा कि मुझे डॉक्टर की ज़रूरत है या नहीं है. Just imagine, do we do these podcasts like that? I'm not questioning why.
No, I have actually, someone who's in MFD, उन्होंने मेरे को बोला भी था, अगर आप देखोगे कोई एडवाइजर को, वो आपका डॉक्टर है,
हाँ.
आपके पैसे का डॉक्टर. That's why example
So,
really.
all I'm saying is that in most parts of our life, the framework is, अगर हमें वो नहीं आता है तो हम किसी को पूछेंगे, कहीं पे हम खुद मेहनत करके पढ़ाई करेंगे, एनालाइज करेंगे. इन्वेस्टिंग में हमें सबको लगता है कि आसान है, बट इतना आसान नहीं है. तो या तो आप बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स को सीखिए. यू नीड टू डू लॉट ऑफ रीडिंग, यू नीड टू, एंड टुडेज वर्ल्ड लॉट ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन, इनसाइट्स, नॉलेज इज अवेलेबल, बट यू नीड टू देन नो where to seek it, how to learn, how to apply, practice. Again, practice is what makes you perfect. So either you do all of that and then invest on your own. Nothing wrong. You can invest on your own. But data again says that the biggest enemy of a good investor is the investor himself, is the human being himself, and which is why going for professional advice, going for people who have been experienced, who have seen cycles, who are honest, who are your well-wishers, and who will give you advice so that your portfolio, is resilient enough to pass through periods of uncertainty, periods when you feel disappointed, periods when you feel a correct decision ho gaya. That is when you need a good advisor to say, don't worry, this is not a bad decision. Or if it is a bad decision, let's change it, and this is the way to change it. Because left to ourselves, if we don't know the rules of the game, how will we play the game? You have, let's say, never watched a cricket match, or never played a cricket match, or never read about it, or never spoken about it, and you straight away go into a ground. What will you do? आप शुरू कहाँ से करोगे? How will you know कि मुझे फील्ड करना है, मुझे बॉल करना है? How will you know कि ओवर में 6 बॉल्स होते हैं? How will you know कि ये बाउंड्री लाइन है? But that is only because over time you have seen it, you have played it, and then you can, and even there you can't become the most professional cricketer, 100 करोड़ के देश में ऑलमोस्ट ऑल ऑफ अस, आई एम श्योर इवन यू वुड हैव इन योर अर्ली डेज थॉट कि आई कैन बिकम अ गुड क्रिकेटर. मैंने सोचा था कि मुझे इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम में चांस मिलेगा. मैं खेलता था, एंड मेरे हिसाब से मैं अच्छा खेलता था, बट वो इल्यूजन्स होते हैं हमारे.
फेयर इनफ. सो आपने और 25 इयर्स का आपका एक्सपीरियंस है इन दिस इंडस्ट्री. आई जस्ट वांट टू आस्क यू, आपने काफ़ी सारे नैरेटिव्स देखे होंगे जो फेल हुए हैं. आपको अभी क्या लगता है ऐसा नैरेटिव जो है जो इन्वेस्टर्स को ऐसा भ्रम फैला रहा है कि मतलब ये ऐसा हो सकता है? आपको क्या लगता है जो ऐसा आज कोई नैरेटिव जो है जो फ्यूचर में चलेगा या कुछ फेल हो जाएगा?
Yeah, it's a very, very, very important question, because most of the times when we are new in the game, what has attracted us right now is what becomes our belief system. So one of the belief system right now is, you make always positive returns in stocks. And if you buy small stocks, you make still higher returns. Which is why so much of money, so much of personal investors' money is going into small cap stocks, SME companies, IPOs which do not have probably track record, or even in small cap funds. Small cap funds are relatively far better than most of these direct investments, because at least there the fund manager is eliminating 70-80% of the universe of stocks which do not deserve to earn our hard-earned money. So the narrative that every quarter पैसा बनता है, every month बनता है, every year बनता है, is a narrative which some point in time will be broken. We have seen in the last few months intermittent sharp corrections, but generally like I said, हर 2 साल में markets गिरते हैं. पुराने ज़माने में 1990s में, early 2000 में markets used to remain sideways for 3, 4, 5 years. They would fall by 20-30% and go nowhere for 2-3 years. In the recent times, in the last 5-7 years, when most investors have come in, markets have rarely corrected. They have fallen, and again they rise back very sharply. So we never feel we lose money. So that we will never lose money in stock market is a big narrative which will be broken in the next 10 years, is how I think about it.
आपने थोड़ी देर पहले resilience की बात की थी in their investment portfolio, जो इन्वेस्टर्स को how to build resilience. ऐसा कोई एसेट क्लास है जो लोगों को जानना चाहिए कि दैट शुड बी देयर टू बिल्ड रेजिलियंस, और ऐसा कोई एसेट क्लास है जो नहीं होना चाहिए?
आई थिंक ओवर टाइम हिस्ट्री एंड लॉट ऑफ academic research and actual data has shown that in the very long term, stocks have earning power, because stocks of good companies have earning power, because good companies are able to make products and sell them and have pricing power. So they are able to sell you their goods every year at higher prices. And if they are able to sell you at higher prices, it means that profits keep rising over a long period of time. And if you buy these stocks at good, fair prices or fair valuation, and you become a shareholder in these companies, effectively you are partnering businesses and earning the profits of the business over the next, over the life of that business. So in the long term, stocks are most resilient. In the short term, stocks are most risky because the prices fluctuate. So their prices are volatile. Their long-term returns are not. Now, hence, as an investor, if I know this, fundamental truth that long-term में पैसा बनता है और short-term में NAVs गिरता है, I have to solve for short-term volatility, and there are two ways to solve for it. With this knowledge, I should either ignore it completely. Every time markets are falling, I should just ignore it. That how does it matter? अगर मुझे कुछ करना ही नहीं है, I don't have to react. Why should I bother about it? And build a portfolio and stay invested for long term. Not track day-to-day prices. Not worry about them. Is one way to think of resilience. The other way is that, on the contrary, when I said stocks make generate higher returns in the long term, bonds generate lower returns in the long term, because bonds have more or less a straight line return, or FDs have straight line return. So they are safe in the short term. In the long term, they are not safe because they don't earn you more than inflation. They lose purchasing power. But in the short term, their fluctuations are very low. So if you add them in your portfolio, it cushions the NAV movement or the price movement of your portfolio. So one way of building resilient portfolios is to mix asset classes, equity and bonds, or equity, bonds and gold, or equity of India and global, or Indian equity, global equity, precious metals and bonds. Mixing asset classes is a way to build resilient portfolios. And I'll give an example. In the last 18 months, stocks in India have fluctuated more sharply, and they've seen sharp corrections of 20 to 40%. And in the same period, gold has gone up by 40%. Now, if a portfolio had, let's say, 90% in stocks and 10% in gold, when 90% fell by 30, that would have been a 27% drop in value. But the 10% going up by 40 gave 4 rupees to cushion part of that fall. It can't cushion completely because the ratio is skewed. But assuming if you had a 50-50 exposure, 50% of stock portfolio loses 15 rupees and 50% of the other stock, a gold portfolio, gains 20 rupees. It cancels out. The fluctuation gets cancelled out. So you can build resilience by mixing low correlated asset classes which don't behave in the same direction at the same time. However, in the long term, they generally earn returns closer to each other. Now, in most emerging markets, because most emerging markets also see their currency, losing 3-4% annually, gold, in a way, is a proxy to, protection against currency depreciation. So mixing gold can bring resilience in your portfolio. Gold itself is very volatile. Gold's fluctuations are sharper than equity. Mm-hmm. There are times when for 10 years returns of gold has been zero. Okay. There are times when gold has fallen by 40% in a single year, like stocks. So in itself, it is not resilient. Equities also in itself is not resilient. But when you mix the two, the mixed portfolio has better resilience. It has lesser fluctuation without compromising your long-term returns meaningfully. So I'll just give you one statistic. In last 25-30 years, gold has earned 12%, Nifty has earned 13%. If you just had a mixture of these two, your total returns would have been 13.5, higher than the individual, at half the volatility, at 60% of the volatility. Or if you mix gold, stocks of India and stocks of the world, and a little bit of bonds, and you run a 25% each portfolio. So the highest performing asset class gave 13%. This mixed portfolio would have earned around 12%. So 1% kam mila, but at volatility which is half. So that again is a concept of resilient portfolios. So in academic words, we call it asset allocation. So one way of building resilience is asset allocation. The other way of building resilience is to buy good companies. If you buy good companies, or if you invest in funds which buy good companies, okay, let me put it the other way around. Resilience ka opposite kya hai? How do you lose money? You lose money on two conditions. If you buy bad companies, you will lose money because these companies will over time decay or even perish. if you buy good companies but at very obscene valuations, at unjustified valuations, like 2000 के साल में world over all tech stocks were at 100 p, including in India. In 2007-8, all infrastructure stocks were at 50 p. 50 p itself is very expensive. 100 p is very expensive. Average price to earning ratio of the market as a whole should be around 15 to 20, 15 times. Anything very different from that means you are buying it risky. You are overpaying for it, even though the underlying asset class is good. तो जब आप महंगा खरीदते हो या ख़राब खरीदते हो तो आपका पैसा गिरने ही वाला है, आपके पैसे में नुकसान होने ही वाला है. 3 महीने में नहीं होगा, 6 में नहीं होगा, बट 1, 2, 3 साल में होगा. तो आप इसका उल्टा कर दीजिए. डोंट बाय बैड कंपनीज, डोंट ओवर पे. इफ़ यू जस्ट फॉलो दीज 2 रूल्स, यू विल क्रिएट रेजिलिएंट पोर्टफोलियोज.
एक लास्ट 2 क्वेश्चन सर. अभी ना काफ़ी सारे लोगों का रिस्क, इनहेरेंट रिस्क जो रहता है कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट या एसेट क्लास में, काइंड ऑफ लाइक अ ब्लाइंड स्पॉट. मैं काफ़ी दोस्तों को भी मैं देखता हूँ, दे आर ओवर एलोकेटेड टू सर्टन पोर्टफोलियोज. एंड जब मैं उनसे बात करता हूँ वो बोलते देखो क्या मालूम है, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली दे हैव मेड लॉट ऑफ रिटर्न्स, तो वो सुनने के लिए तैयार नहीं रहते. सो why does this blind spot come recurring? You must have seen so many cycles where this blind spot keeps coming again and again, even though folks like you have taken a lot of efforts to educate people by speaking publicly. Why does this keep happening to people? Is it like only newbies की वजह से होता है? It's like something else that's happening here.
See, blind spots have got nothing to do again with only investing. Blind spots are about our own decision making hacks, decision making traps or errors. So investing is one part of our life where you have to take decisions, good or bad. Every part of life where there is the need to take decisions, there can be blind spots. So we have blind spots in many parts of life, and we are human beings. And as a human being, I'm not going to change tomorrow just when I have to make my investment decision. I have blind spots in my career. I have blind spots in personal life. I have blind spots in choice of friends I may have. I have blind spots in the type of things that I go and shop for. We have blind spots in every part of life, and hence the same is reflecting in investing. In investing, blind spots are things like making false presumptions or assumptions basis whatever limited knowledge we have or wrong knowledge we have. So like I gave this example that if I were to tell a new investor, and this happens many times, that let's say some friend will say, Abhi, I want to start investing, tell me which is the best fund. Now, which is the best fund is the first wrong question, because there's no fund whose performance is steady.
Correct.
No fund whose rank is steady. If there are 1,500 schemes in the country, there will be only one scheme which will be rank 1, and hence the best fund on that day. Tomorrow it may change. And next month, some third fund will be the best. And next quarter, some fourth will be the best. And there's no way to predict which one is going to be best or worst. But still people want to search for the best performing fund. If you ask Google कि सबसे ज़्यादा क्या search होता है, तो वो बताएंगे आपको कि show me the top 5 funds or the best performing funds. Unfortunately, most digital platforms also sort things on top 5 stocks, top 5 asset classes, top 5 schemes. So that's the first big blind spot or error we make. Second is, if let's say something is in the top 5 which has earned 20% in last 5 years, the assumption that in the next 5 years it will earn the same 20% also is wrong. When something, you have to understand the core of returns is long-term returns are between 12 to 14%. Now, if someone has earned 20% in the last 1 year, it is that someone, it's not you. And it has got no bearing to your future return. किसी के past return का मेरे और आपके future return के साथ कोई connection ही नहीं है. They are completely disconnected. But yet, the most important thing we look for is someone else's past return. That's another blind spot. So I think that is the pattern, or that's the habit that we are used to. The first learnings we have taken is to look for returns. आज अच्छा stock कौन सा है? You ask someone in your train group, what stock are you buying? And he says, I have bought this stock. मेरा 50% ऊपर चला गया. So किसी और के रिटर्न में हम जज करते कि ये एक्सपर्ट है, विदाउट आस्किंग द क्वेश्चन ये 50% के लिए आपने रिस्क क्या लिया था, और ये 50% फ्लूक से आया है क्या? Have you even lost money? So in your portfolio, if you have 10 stocks, 2 have given you 50. Tell me the 2 which have not given you 50 and which have fallen 30. So blind spots हर चीज़ में होते हैं. Investing में blind spot होता है looking at past returns, looking at other people's returns. Or getting swayed by someone's return on 1 or 2 stocks, but not knowing there are 5 other stocks where he or she has lost money, not asking what is the risk have you taken to generate a return, not understanding that these are cycles. In a good cycle, stocks will give high returns, but when the cycle changes, they'll also give you low returns. So these are all biases that arise out of incomplete knowledge, not having seen that asset class in its full context and perspective. So half information or half knowledge create blind spots, and it's not easy to overcome, because if it was easy, everyone would have made money.
Fair enough. So my last question is more of a recommendation for our viewers and listeners. What would you recommend, something that enriched your life, something you watched, something you read? What do you think would enrich our viewers' life?
सबसे ज़्यादा एनरिचिंग इनपुट्स मिलते हैं एक्सपीरियंस है. इट्स अ टाइम एनरिचेस यू. सेकेंड, you have to be open to counter opinions and constantly questioning. Curiosity is very important. So I'll tell you what has helped me, what has made me a less poor investor. I will still not use the word a better investor because it's a journey always. I read this book called The Art of Thinking Clearly.
Okay.
A lot of these concepts and the questions you ask, कि हम क्यों गलती करते हैं, हम कहाँ डिसीजन में एरर्स करते हैं, इस किताब में हर इस तरह की गलती के बारे में 2-2 पेज में स्टोरीज और एग्जांपल्स है, और साथ में सॉल्यूशंस भी है कि ये गलती को अवॉइड करने का हैक क्या होना चाहिए. इट्स अ बुक कॉल्ड द आर्ट ऑफ थिंकिंग क्लियरली बाय रॉल्फ डोवेली. इट इज़ अ मस्ट रीड बुक. इट हैज़ हेल्प्ड मी इन showing a mirror to me that what are the wrong decisions that I also take and what are better ways to avoid them. So that is a very good, simple, at times witty book which keeps your attention and helps you a lot. Then what has also helped me is learning from some of the best investors of the world who are also authentic. So there are many investors who are very good, but they may not be authentic in sharing their knowledge. They may talk things which are biased or one-sided. So I like investors who talk about risk also. मुझे बैलेंस अच्छा लगता है. मुझे उस तरह के इन्वेस्टर्स अच्छे नहीं लगते जो हमेशा वन साइडेड होते हैं, बिकॉज वन साइडेड व्यूज़ में हम ऑल्टरनेट हिस्ट्रीज़ को रिस्पेक्ट नहीं करते हैं. मैंने अगर आज एक वन साइडेड व्यू दे दिया कि इंडिया में अगले 25 साल में बहुत पैसा बनने वाला है, एंड शायद बनेगा, एंड प्रॉबेबली मोस्ट लाइकली बनेगा, बट व्हाट इफ़ देयर इज़ अ स्मॉल प्रोबेबिलिटी दैट समथिंग गोज़ रॉन्ग in the period in which I have invested and things don't work out. So I need to think in my mind that if an alternate history plays out also, will my portfolio remain resilient? And hence, should I construct my portfolio a bit differently? Is there a different way to think about these things? So anyone who teaches you diversity of thinking, risk management, optimism के साथ balance and pragmatism बहुत ज़रूरी है. So some of the investment greats like Warren Buffett, they have spoken a lot about what not to do. चार्ली मंगर का तो एक प्रिंसिपल है जो बहुत ही क्रिटिकल है कि he says, tell me where will I die, so I never go there. तो वो बताते हैं कि लाइफ में क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, गलत आउटकम. So he doesn't say that tell me how to become a good investor. He says learn what are the mistakes of a bad investor and then just avoid that. So these principles give you a very different and a very deeper way of learning how to invest. They don't tell you which stock to buy. They will not tell you which 5 funds are the right funds to buy. They will tell you how to think about investing in funds, how to think about building portfolios, how to think about risk, how to think about macro. Then a lot of writing by Nassim Taleb, who talks a lot about black swan and risk, is very complex. He's extremely complex. So usko samajhna bahut mushkil hai. But if someone is able to graduate to learn from his books, he has taught some very interesting and important principles. So I think these are 3-4 people. And then in today's world, there is so much of content available of good investors of India themselves. People like you, when you do podcasts and you're able to disseminate information. Of course, इसमें एक चैलेंज ये भी है कि कौन अच्छा है और कौन अच्छा नहीं है बाद में पता चलेगा. लॉट ऑफ पीपल हियर मी बिकॉज मेरे पास टाइटल है CEO का और DSP का ब्रांड है, तो अजम्पशन है कि अच्छा ही होगा. बट ज़रूरी नहीं है कि हर कम्युनिकेशन में सही नॉलेज मिले आपको. तो एक फ़िल्टर भी रखना ज़रूरी है कि व्हाट नॉट टू लिसन. सो आई थिंक द डिजिटल वर्ल्ड हैज़ इनेबल्ड यू टुडे टू compete with the best of investors, because the best of investors are talking freely and sharing their knowledge selflessly, and that really can help investors do better.
Thank you so much, Mr. Parekh, for taking out the time. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
तो ये था बाजार एंड बियॉन्ड का आज का एपिसोड. आई होप कि आपको ये कॉन्वर्जेशन पसंद आया। मिस्टर पारेख ने एक इंटरेस्टिंग पर्सपेक्टिव शेयर किया अबाउट मेंटल मॉडल्स यानी कि थंब रूल्स। ये हमेशा काम में नहीं आते हैं और इन्हें सोच समझ के इस्तेमाल कीजिए। अगर आपको ये एपिसोड पसंद आया तो वीडियो को लाइक और शेयर ज़रूर करें। ऐसे और इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्वर्जेशंस के लिए एमस्टॉक के यूट्यूब चैनल को ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब करें। तो मिलते हैं अगले एपिसोड में, तब तक के लिए स्टे सेफ एंड इन्वेस्ट वाइजली।
Investments in securities markets are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.